Okay, it's exactly midnight, and I thought, what better thing to do right now than to record a YouTube video and upload it. And I just recorded the entire thing, and my phone died. And now I'm gonna see if I can remember everything that I just said. So I was just commenting on YouTube and Instagram, and people were talking about this topic of double standards between men and women, where women, in the comments of some clip of a male athlete, they'll comment like sexual comments about him, but then if they get sexual comments, like if there's a sexual comment about a female athlete, they'll come back at the men who are commenting that stuff and just call them, pigs and vulgar and to stop doing that. And I started thinking about the modern dating market and all these young men. I'm 30 years old. I was thinking about all these young men in their early 20s who are coming online and saying, like, I'm just done with dating. And it seems like a lot of people are just like done and they don't care anymore about dating. I recalled my adventures. So I've talked on my channel before about the fact that I was super shy when I was younger, and I got over social anxiety by approaching women on my college campus. And when I graduated college, I started going out to the bar and going out into the club and kind of learning game and just learning how to be myself, learning how to let loose. And I approached a lot of women, tried to date a lot of women, dated a lot of women, like went on dates with a lot of women. And there was this one particular type of woman that I remember encountering that I have a theory is perhaps multiplying. Let me know what you think. So I encountered this type of woman who, because her ex was a bad guy, she would try to take it out on the next guy who was a nice guy, who didn't do anything bad to her, who had always been respectful to women, who always walked on eggshells his whole life, which is like 90% of guys walk around, interact with the world. It's like 90% of guys who are very, very respectful and like literally walk on eggshells with women. But it's like the 10 to 20% of guys that are kind of douchey and kind of treat women badly. And that's the type of guy that for some reason they get experiences with. Maybe because he's a little bit more attractive, because he's like more confident and he's more risk-taking and exudes that behavior and he's more attractive, and then they get hurt by him and then they take it out on the next guy, the nice guy that they get with next. So basically, before my video just got deleted because my phone died, I was talking about how it's a bit unfair for the next guy, the nice guy, and also how I can understand why young men are just giving up on dating, because that type of woman, I never got into a relationship with that woman. I didn't want to with that type of woman. If my radar went off, like, this woman's kind of crazy because she was trying to like hurt me. She was actively trying to hurt me because her ex was controlling. Like, let's say she went on some like weird rant late at night about how her ex was like controlling, and now she's trying to like hurt me, and I'm just kind of like sitting there. So that type of woman who generalizes and just says that all guys are bad, it just seems to be multiplying. Am I wrong? And it seems to be the reason for why a lot of young men don't want to date anymore. All these women are creating like these high standards, like, I want this from a man. Men ain't shit. They'll say that. And I know that's like years old, that term, but I feel like a lot of women still have that attitude. Not all of them, right? I could be generalizing. We could be generalizing that a lot of women are like that, but also I see a lot of generalization that all men are bad just because one woman has had a bad experience with like one guy. And I wanted to mention, I talked about lay count too, like how many people have slept with. I personally, when I was going out talking to people, I started getting more curious about these topics when I was getting into my mid-late 20s. And just by talking to people, I figured out that a lot of women who are like around the age of 25, like your average woman, had been with maybe like 10 to 15 or upper teens as far as like men she's slept with. And guys that same age have only slept with a couple, but there were like some outliers whose lay count was in like the hundreds. So it just makes sense that these women are like going for the same guy the same type of guy, and it's like a small percentage of guys. And then they generalize and act like all guys are bad or all guys are douchebags because those guys are douchebags. And I think nice guys are fed up. I think nice guys are fed up with being called a jerk and having to jump through all these hoops. I mean, if you got a backbone, like if you got boundaries, you're not going to jump through any hoops. And I think a lot of men now are getting boundaries and they're not going to jump through all these hoops. And that's why a lot of young men in their early 20s are saying that they're just done with dating and they're not going to try anymore. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Can you relate? Is this true? What do you think?